my first year being an elected representative here in the House of the Oireachtas, and it was my first year hearing the budget, but all that I could go in through my head when I was sitting inside listening to the budget was the song "Here We Go Again." This budget is yet another in a long list of missed opportunities by this government and its predecessors of recent years. We're over a decade into an unprecedented spell of uninterrupted growth, but we yet have chronic deficits in infrastructure, transport, health, education and energy. I've said this before in here, we are a very rich country, but for too many people we feel very poor. Where are the protections today for the vulnerable? Where are the protections for low to middle class or middle income earners in this budget? We have the second highest energy costs in Europe, skyrocketing food prices and a housing crisis that continues to spiral, with 5,000 children living in homelessness. But homelessness was never mentioned once today when they're in the addresses by both ministers today. Where was the commitment to eradicating child poverty? We have one in 5 children in Ireland are living in poverty. Our public services need urgent investments, and we've shown as a party how we would pay for them by raising revenue from restoring the bank levy to 500 million. But we're not listened to. This is another issue that we've raised today that we're not listened to in the opposition benches. This government has chosen instead to give a sweeping tax break to McDonald's and Supermacs rather than give it to ordinary people that support their needs. Delighted that other parties have picked up on this, that the VAT cuts the VAT cuts that have been given to people like McDonald's and Supermacs would have been able to fund a second tier of child benefit. Families will get no energy supports in this budget. They'll see limited improvements in their childcare fees and will pay 500 more on college fees, which and then the government had the cheek to say to paint it as a cut. This budget is really going to hurt those who depend on their state for their income. An extra €10 a week. We know that our targeted social welfare payments are targeted. Social welfare payments are targeted, and an extra €10 a week is going to do nothing to help those families make ends meet, while the price of basic things are spiralling completely out of control. St Vincent de Paul have said we need €16 is needed to be added to every core weekly payment, and we agree with this in a party, and we have that in our alternative budget, but once again that wasn't listened to. But rather than that, tax breaks, like I said, for food barons and developers, when we could have said which could have been used to target child support payments to the poorest of families. Then on to the carers. Where's that promises that were made during the election budget, or coming up to the election? Carers save the state $20 billion a year. Both Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael manifestos made a commitment towards getting rid of this, but this is only piecemeal progress. Why not get rid of it? Why not get rid of it? The Disability Federation of Ireland have already come out today and called this budget a betrayal of disabled people. Where is the cost of a disability payment that was spoken about? We have a need, we can see that the government the energy credits have papered over cracks in the last budget, but this year they could have been targeted. We have the highest energy costs in Europe, but yet we have got the profiteering from the energy companies is going completely unaddressed. Labour we proposed extending the fuel allowance to all those on the working family payment and extending the payment period to 32 weeks from 28. And we would do this by putting a 20% windfall tax on the profits of the energy companies. But like 1 in 5, like I said, children are living in poverty, and a second tier of targeted child benefit are what we could have seen in this budget. Why is the derelict property tax being delayed until 2028? Why is it, we need apartments, we all agree with that, but why are there going to be a VAT cut for developers with no link to affordability on this? This budget is harking back to the days of the Galway tent. It's disappointing. It doesn't do anything. It's definitely favoured the property developers, the big businesses, and it's a time that could have addressed the structural inequalities, and people now are going to spend another year living worried, in cold, and worried and spend the whole year stressed out about how they're going to pay their energy and their food bills and rent that they can't even get. Gormagoth.